What's up, world? My name is Daryl Easterling, and I am the CEO and founder of Ride. Um, Ride, what is Ride? Everybody asking, what is Ride? What is Ride? Well, Ride is the future. Is the future to small town, small city transportation. You know, a lot of people know that being in a small town, it has its advantages and disadvantages. One of the disadvantages of being in a small town is the lack of transportation and just being able to get to your essentials the way that you need to. You know, being in a small town, it's hard to get to places fast without having to, call somebody or call for a ride or call somebody like that or whatever. So I'm from a small town, born and raised in a small town in South Carolina called Cheraw. The native name of that town is called Chickaw, South Carolina. So if you want to go back and look at the origin, it is a native town. So being there, I knew that it's been lack of transportation since when I was a little boy, when I was very, very young. And as time has progressed, transportation has evolved, everywhere. So, but in a lot of small towns and cities, transportation is still a challenge to be able to get. So I wanted to solve that problem and create, something that was innovative, something that was, for the community, for the people, and wanted to be able to help people. So we created in 2017 with a post on Facebook with our first van. It was a 1999 Pontiac Montana van. And I had one goal in mind, and that was to help people, to solve a problem. So we created Ride, and I wanted to do these videos, and start doing videos, start this YouTube channel, start this journey. I've been doing Ride now for, on 9 years. And it's been a challenge. And I know that a lot of times when people are starting, especially in this industry, I had nobody to network with. I had nobody to get on the phone and call and say, hey, I got a question. Everything that I'm gonna tell you, everything that I'm telling you in my videos and in these things, it's gonna be like I experienced it. There are, experiences that I had to on-go, and I still on-go now with doing Ride. And now we're in over 100 cities across the United States now. We have an app now that you can download on Apple and Google Play. The journey definitely was not easy doing it. Is definitely you learn something new every day in this business, and it's fun. But you gotta, you have to be able to love solving problems in order to be in this industry. And I've been in different industries. Like I said, I've worked at jobs. I've worked as a dishwasher at 16. I've worked at Sonics. I've worked at Wendy's. I've worked at fish restaurants. I've worked at plants. I've worked in the fitness industry. I started the fitness industry in 2003. Worked at in sales, marketing. So my background in sales and marketing, over 20 years of doing that, from direct marketing to network marketing. In the music industry, ran a consulting company, MTC Empire, which we still do that to this day. So there's a lot of things that that I've grown, and it's crazy because people was like, why Ride? Why this? And in 2017, I needed to get my head back in the game. I went through a bad divorce. in 2017, and I left Atlanta and went back home, and I needed to get my head back in the game. I needed to get my head right, because I didn't need to focus on the past. I needed to focus on the future. So I needed to figure out, like, I'm not going to go get another job. I drove for Uber for like 2 weeks, and then I was like, man, I can create this. My mind's just, my imagination was just like, I was like, I can create an Uber somewhere. I can create it, where I'm at. So when I went back home and I was talking to my mom, and I was like, man, I want to create something. So I literally, hands down, I literally went to the store, paid somebody to take me to the store, came back to the house, and I was like, Daryl, you did that all wrong. They should be paying you. So I went online to Facebook Marketplace, went on there, saw a van on there for $1,200, and sure thing, in my bank account I had about like $1,300 left. Went there, talked to the guy, ended up getting the van. I had enough for the insurance, and I had the labels. I went to a local office supplies place and got some labels to put on the van. So once I got that on there, I made a post on Facebook. I said, who would like to ride with me for $5? And it went viral. And it was that moment where I knew that a bigger purpose, when you're solving a problem, and you got to know three things. People, want to make sure that they have shelter. That's why real estate is always going to be popping. People always got to eat. The restaurant industry, that's why, it's always going to be popping. And people need transportation. So, and if you're in any of those three industries, you're going to solve a problem, and that consistency is going to, take you over.